Okay, so we've been working with the ESP32. We did some Wi-Fi stuff, and so we got connected to both our home networks or our hotspot on our phone, as well as like connecting to the enterprise network at the school. And then we connected to the time client, the NTP server, and we got the time. Okay, and then we're printing out the time. So we had the offset of 8 based on daylight savings and our current time zone. And now what we're going to do is we're going to look at getting the weather. Okay, and so there's a website called Open Weather Map, and they have an API that we can use to get weather. Okay, and so you could think of this as a way to interact with their website to get information. And so, but in order to do that, we actually have to sign up for an account. And so we're going to come over here and we'll sign up for an account. Just use your, I think you could probably use your school email or something. So I'm going to sign up here, put my password in, do all this stuff, and then we'll kind of take a look on the other side. Okay, so you have your username and your password. You have to check that you're 16 or older, agree with the privacy policy. This is if you want stuff from like emails from them. We'll create our account. Hopefully the username works. We'll just put the district here, and we're just going to do education. Okay. And so now we've got an account here. We may need to do a confirmation. So I'm going to confirm that real quick. Okay, so I've signed up for my account, and so what we need now is an API key. And so the idea is we're going to use their free API, but in order to do that, we have to get a key. And so it looks like they gave us a free one. And so we can activate it or deactivate it. So I'm just going to take this key and copy it. You should use your own. I'm actually going to delete this one after the video, or deactivate it probably after the video is over, because basically the issue is that you have so many like API calls or messages to their server, and that's how they know it's you, is using this key, so that they don't end up getting spammed, and then they can also charge for it and things like that. And so you don't want to share your key. So I'm gonna be, when this is done, deactivating this and getting rid of it so that nobody uses it and spams them using my account. Okay, so we've got our key. And so we're going to come to our, back to here, and we'll go to our secrets file. Okay. And then we're going to say, const char pointer open weather API key. And we'll put it right there. Just like that. And so now we have our API key. Okay. And so now we'll look at how to use that. Okay. And we'll go to, let's see, services. Look at the details here. Okay. And so we get 60 calls per minute with our API key, or a million calls per month. Okay, we can get the current weather and every 3 hour forecast for 5 days. That's like every 3 hours for 5 days. If you wanted more details, you could pay for different memberships, basically. So this more advanced one. So let's say I want to build an app in which I was like had like a weather app, right? And so I would go for maybe like this developer plan or professional or enterprise, where this one you get 5 billion API calls per month. It costs you $2,000 a month, and it gives you all of this data, right? And then we kind of get less and less data provided, depending on the account that we're using. Okay, so we're using this free account, and so really what we need to do is find the guide for this API. And so, where is their free API instructions? One call, pay as you call. Let's see. Okay, I think it's just, so we got the current weather data. I think this is the one that we want. So let's look at the API doc here. Okay. And so we can make an API call like this. So we're going to make an HTTP request using this URL where we fill in our API key at the end and we put in the latitude and the longitude. Okay. So something like this. Okay. And then we're going to get back a response in the form of this data type, which is called a JSON, where they've got all this information there. Okay. And so let's go ahead and do that. So let's grab this one right here. Okay. And this will be our starting point. And so we'll come back to here. So make a string to store this. All right, and then we'll come back and kind of fill this in. Okay? Okay, so I've also looked up the latitude and longitude for the city. You can change and use a different one if you want. Let me also grab, now that I'm thinking about it, the example one so we can see the precision that they use in their example. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make a new function. We'll call it void get weather. Okay, and so to do this, we're going to make an HTTP client. And we won't get into a lot of this web stuff yet, or at all necessarily. And because we'll find some tools that make it easy for us. We do need to, though, have a, let's see, pound include HTTP client. Okay. But this is what we use to make internet requests. Okay. And so let's go ahead and we're going to put in our stuff, our information that we found over here. So let me pull up this. Oh, I copied but didn't paste. So let's paste it right here. Okay. We'll make the HTTP base be to here. Actually, let's just do this. So we're going to say string URL, and then we're going to copy up to here. And then we're going to say const char pointer lat is equal to, all right, and const char pointer longitude, is equal to 117 points. We'll say 59. Okay. And so now we're going to, on the next line, we're going to say URL plus equals, so we can add it onto the back. That's what is nice about strings when you do this stuff. Lat URL plus equals. So after the latitude, we have this. I need a semicolon there. There we go. Then we say URL plus equals lon, and say URL plus equals app ID in parentheses, in quotes. All right, and then finally, we'll put in our API key. So it was, let's see, open, nope. We don't have it included here, that's why. Okay. There we go. Now we add in our open weather API key. And then if we were to print this, it would print out this whole thing with the latitude and the longitude and the API key embedded. Okay? And so now we can actually make the request to get the weather. All right, and so we're going to do http.begin. So we begin our HTTP client with our URL. And then we're going to say int response equals http dot get, and we'll give ourselves some debug messages. Okay, so serial dot print ln getting weather, and serial dot print ln response, and then we'll put our response there. Okay, and so this would be like an error code. And so if our response equals 200, then we're all good. Else serial dot print, got some kind of error getting weather. Okay, so this 200 means valid response. There could be other codes too that are successful, but we'll just stick with the 200 for now. If that doesn't work, we can change it. Okay. So we're going to get the payload. So string payload is equal to http dot get string. And then what we're going to do is, so this is, we got like a response code and a payload, and our payload is like the data. And so we're going to print this out, serial.print ln, and then we'll stick that payload in there. Okay, and so now we've checked the weather. We can do this every, say, 60 seconds. We'll put get weather. All right, and what that does is it builds our URL for us. It's going to make the HTTP request, and it's going to tell us we got an error, or it's going to give us a response. We'll put the function prototype here so it compiles, and we'll give it a shot. Okay, let's see if we get the weather now. My terminal's broken here. Let's try again. And including like some of these libraries, like the HTTP client and probably Wi-Fi UDP and things like that, we start to really build up like the there's a lot of code involved in these. Multiple definition. Okay, real quick, let me fix this. Okay, so we're getting an error because the secrets.h file is included in two places, and we're referencing those keys in the Wi-Fi handler, but not here. And so we're going to have to either modify that or have different files for different things. And so from now, what we're going to do is I'm going to take my open weather key. I'm going to cut it. I'm just going to paste it at the top here. Okay. And that will solve that compiler error. So we've got it here instead of in our secrets file, and that will solve that issue. Okay. And so now, once we get connected, so we connect to the internet, we're going to get the current time. And then we're going to go ahead and check the weather. And for some reason, it's still not working. Oh, let me get rid of this include as well, because we're having issues with the Wi-Fi passwords that are in there now. Okay, we're up and running. So we're connecting to the Wi-Fi. We got the current time. We're getting the weather. We got the weather. And so let's take a look. It tells us, so we've got our longitude and our latitude. It says that we got clouds, over cloud. So we got, these are like the icons and stuff. So this is the temperature in, I guess, kelvins. Let's see, got pressure, humidity, visibility, wind speeds. Okay, we had all kinds of stuff here, and so this is a JSON. I think we might have this wrong. Let's see. Maybe I put our information wrong. Did I confuse the longitude and the latitude? Let's see. That would be kind of funny. So the latitude and the longitude, oh, it's negative 117. That's why. Okay. So we're getting somewhere else entirely. And so let's fix it. We'll put the negative here. So we'll get something a little more relevant to us. And then on the next kind of lesson, what we'll do is we'll take what we've done here and learn how to kind of like break that data packet apart into information that's useful to us, that we can make decisions with and things like that. And we can make some kind of simple like weather display based on the information we got there. And that will kind of wrap up this weather part of it, at least. Okay, now let's give it a try. Okay, so we're connecting to Wi-Fi, getting the weather. Okay, there we go, Rancho Cucamonga. That looks a little more like it. So we'll have to look at converting this into Fahrenheit for ourselves and then doing some other stuff to make this information a little bit more useful for us. Okay?